Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? I hope all's well this evening. It's a bit bright, thankfully, outside, so it's not as sunny as it was, but it's sunny enough. It's been a dull day, but apart from that, it's all right. I just moved a bit. Let me see, moved a bit upwards, yeah, so we can see the lovely picture behind us, of course. Because what's the point in paying €150 for a picture when you can't see it? You know, the main attraction of the stream. That's what happened. So yeah, we're a bit early. We're 3 minutes early, but look, we have a good bit tonight. Let me just see. Yeah, we do have actually a good bit. Ooh, I'm pressing all the buttons. Give me a second. So I pressed many buttons there by mistake. So yeah, we get started now in a few minutes. I'll give it a few minutes to bring me tea over too. Put that for a second. Anything that need or anything? No, isn't that true? Cheap so. I have my phone ready to in case anything need to wing or anything like that. Right. We will find it now to June now, would you believe? A lot of stuff going on in June with the local toilet, and it's going to be crazy stuff. And then there's a few other things happening in the background, of course. So it'd be very hectic, just to say, for me. Let me see. See, the worst thing, but I have to make a video probably on the suppression of the channel, I suppose. I don't even know what to use that, but just to explain, I suppose, why people are not getting notifications and stuff, because it's got even worse, which I believe it's not got any better. It's got worse. I don't know. Whatever I said a year ago really pissed off somebody at YouTube, because it's actually extremely bad. It's got worse, even worse than it did before. So we have to probably discuss that. But see, the people saying about making another YouTube channel and stuff like that, but I rather just one year. I don't want to be having 900 YouTube channel stuff going on. It'd be just too much hassle to micromanage two YouTube channels. And then obviously too, you could only live stream on this one, and you wouldn't be able to live stream the other one because you need 1,000 subscribers, because you couldn't use your community post. It could be just a lot of hassle. That's what I think. What's going down? But yeah, so we'll give it a few minutes then for people to get in, and then we chat about the Feds the last few days. May the 25th. Jesus, it's till the end of May. We're nearly at the end of May. Saturday, this day next week is the 1st of June. Literally 6 months into the year. Imagine that, 6 months already in the year, another 6 months to go, and then it's the next year. Imagine that, another 6 months, and then it's another year. What's another year, as they say? So it's crazy how the time flies. And not even half the things I want to get done this year are done. That's the best part of it all. It's the sad. Well, I suppose it's the sad part of the sad way to look at it too. I suppose. Bicycles, yellow car. I got this bracelet too in the shop in the town. I got my haircut today. I got this bracelet and stuff. I don't know. It feels awkward. The material that's in it's not like an only bracelet. It feels a bit awkward. But then again, I used to always wear bracelets and stuff like that, but I'm not used to wearing them now. To be totally honest with you, I used to wear a watch too, like a watch me. But see, I'm not used to so long, because that was when I was in school. I used to wear a watch, and I'm not used to it now. I'm not used to having something on my wrist. I'm just not used to it. I'm used to wearing a hat and stuff. I'm not used to having an arm wrist or anything like that. We'll give it another few more minutes, and then we see what's up. We see what we can muster today. Let me see. Jamaica bobsled team. Yeah, we chill out a bit. It's been a bit hectic today, so we chill out. We're not stressed over things today. Hopefully not. Anyway, yeah, we give it another. We give it another 4 minutes or so. We're just here waiting because people say, "Oh, why did you start?" And you didn't. I'm turning up in the middle of it when I'm discussing something. Just to chill out. But sure, look at it. Yes. You probably should make a channel update video too, and like discussing the censorship of the channel and stuff like that, and just discussing many different things as well as coming up to the election things. Like to be a lot of videos now in the next week or two, like particularly next week, obviously before the election. I'll be discussing about all the candidates for this area and the Cavan Petroba area and the West, the council areas in Cavan. And I'd be discussing who I'd be voting for, why I think you should vote for them, and etc. etc. So it's going to be a lot of long videos and discussing that. Give me a second now, so I can't even see this. See, with the light too, it's hard to see your phone. It's okay. Sorry, I literally had to go into the phone to see it. Funny, dirty, funny. Radio. Let me see. Just check this up one again. Let me see. Sorry, give me a second. Sorry. I'm just looking up something. When I'm here. Yes, okay, that's fine. Let me just check. It didn't upload to BitChute. Interesting. See, I had a video to schedule, like not schedule, but uploading to BitChute didn't upload for some particular reason. Like before I left to go and get my haircut, I had it scheduled. It was the video uploaded yesterday in the Feds Forces. It was supposed to upload and they didn't upload, so I don't know what's the problem with that. But so we work it out. I was just checking because I can't see in my computer BitChute. I haven't logged into BitChute on my computer. I can only see my tablet. Hello, Fiona. How are we keeping? How's our Saturday going? I hope you're doing well on this lovely Saturday day. I don't know. I have to look into that now. But look, we worry about it some other time. What's happening here? Right, well, I suppose we will get started. So why not? Where to start? I suppose this is always the question. I suppose we start with this. Right. So this is Twitter, I suppose X. So we all know this Fianna Fáil, and I can't think of her name now, but she's a Fianna Fáil. She's going for the European Parliament. I can't think of her name, but she's with Fianna Fáil. I've often seen her in Fianna Fáil. So an EU candidate threatens to prosecute Elon Musk for exposing the government. So basically, she's upset that people are calling out government ministers and stuff like that on Twitter, mainly Twitter because it allows free speech, etc., etc. And as she says here, we shouldn't have free speech. You shouldn't be allowed to actually criticize your TD and stuff on Twitter. No other platform allows you to do that. On Facebook, you'd be banned if you said anything wrong about the mainstream political party. So pointed out a fact. At least on Twitter, in fairness, Elon Musk, you're allowed to do to a certain extent. But she's like, yeah, let's shut the whole lot of it down. Like, if the Irish government got their way, because again, Elon Musk has spoken out a lot against the former Taoiseach Leo Varadkar against the Irish government, the hate speech bill, take for example. So they're looking for an excuse, and especially with the Dublin riots too. Twitter didn't engage with the committees investigating the Dublin riots, etc., etc. So that really pissed them off. So they probably will use that as a pretext after the election to ban Twitter. And obviously, then when they go into the European Parliament, if this one gets elected, she'll be going to the European Parliament and saying we should ban Twitter from every part of the European Union. You're a woman, but I don't know who she is. She's Dublin somewhere. I often seen her, But let's put it this way: she doesn't like you or me, She'd rather have somebody from Botswana or something like that. Because long story short, though, for this woman, if she's if you're obviously in Dublin, I think it is, yeah, because the European Parliament, yes. So there's been a bit of discussion. So as you know, there was a bit of a fight between. I'll show you now in a second the next article. But Fianna Fáil is not the only one in drama. So the parties are basically eating themselves. So the Green Party posted this, and obviously the Green Party have some jokes. Like now look for this tweeting. We're doing it for the common good. I got what they call the thing in the post, what they call it, leaflet in the post, Pauline O'Reilly. We're doing it for the common good, but what is the common good? Who's the common good? We're strict in freedom for the common good. Something that literally Hitler said, just to say, and then the next thing they say, the Green Party were about democracy, but literally, their own TDs like just delete this because it doesn't look good, like eating each other basically. Hear about this? Oh, you didn't hear about them fighting, and like I'll show you now in a second. But basically, Green Party kind of fighting with themselves too. Like they all know they're going to doorsteps now and they're getting the head out of them. So they know people are not very happy with them. So they're eating each other basically because people are not happy. Majority. Like I was talking to a man today actually when I was getting my head on just there. And he was like, I don't even know who these councillors are. Like I don't even know who they are. I never seen them in my life. I never seen them do anything. And he's like, they're all just useless fuckers. And he said that. He said he came across Fine Gael fan girl in this area. And he said, I've never seen you do one hit in all your life. And he absolutely had at the head of him, as he said to me. Because he lives up a rural road and stuff. And he hasn't seen one thing done in 20 years or so on the road. So he just he at the head of them. And it's the same with majority Irish people. They lost interest in the politicians because none of them are doing anything basically. They're good for nothing basically. A good evening now and only how are we keeping? But yeah, so long story short, the Green Party are eating themselves because they know what's coming. They know what's coming in the next. Like Gaiman Ryan said, there'll be one Green Party TD in every constituency in the country. He's very delusional. He only woke up that day. But this is the big thing. I'm sure people seen this. So literally, this is an MEP going for the European Parliament from Fianna Fáil. So literally, there was a big row. He literally questioned me. Woman's here again. But he literally questioned Micheál Martin on stage, basically saying, not giving the same support stuff. So there was basically a row on stage. So this is the first time ever. Like I've heard councillors and stuff in Cavan, Fianna Fáil councillors say, "Oh, Fianna Fáil's going in the wrong direction," etc. Willie O'Deed and the hate speech bill, but none of them actually ever questioned Micheál Martin in the public domain on a stage, basically, and said to him that the party's going down a wrong route and not giving enough support. And Micheál Martin basically said to him, like the reaction is very funny. He basically said, "I'm not going to discuss it in the public domain." So basically, kind of silenced them and told him to be quiet. And stuff like that. So some leader just telling him to shut up and fall in line and shut up. If he knew any sense, if he wanted to get elected, if he did, he would say, "Fuck it, I'm leaving Fianna Fáil and I'm going to be coming as an independent or whatever." A lot of people would probably say, "Fair play to him to give him a vote," but the fact of the matter that his conscience, either his conscience is at him, either he knows people are not happy with Fianna Fáil because he's getting it to the door that people don't want them and don't like him. And they don't want a bit of Fianna Fáil. So either that or he's taking in the back of his mind Fianna Fáil is going down a dark path. And this fella is just a puppet. But whatever the case may be, he shouldn't be. He should like the best thing he would have done, he should have done. He should just on stage said, "Fuck this, I'm leaving Fianna Fáil, goodbye. Fuck you, Micheál Martin." But he didn't. You think he would. If he's not happy with Fianna Fáil and stuff, you think he would just say, "Fuck it, leave Fianna Fáil." But basically, obviously, there would have been a lot of wows in the background because how dare he criticize Micheál Martin on stage? That's what Micheál Martin. You can see him here fucking wearing, like he's wearing that he actually was criticized by his own MEP one for Fianna Fáil. Yeah, but it was funny to see. Like they're eating each other basically. Yeah, like we all know the Green Party, they're just fucked. Like they're fucked. There's no point in discussing them because they know they've killed the farmers. They want us to fucking eat bugs. I could go on. Do you want me to tough? So they're just fucked. Eamon Ryan would probably be the only one left because in Dublin they're probably voting in. But there's a Green Party candidate for Cavan County Council for the local elections. It's the first Green Party candidate in Cavan, but he's not going to do very well. Nobody around here wants the Green Party anywhere near this county, so he's not going to do well. He's just going to get obliterated. Nobody's going to vote the Green Party in this area. Like the majority, I even heard, like as I said earlier on, I was talking to a man in hairdressers, and he doesn't even know any of them. But this is the thing too. A lot of people don't want a bit of them. They don't want to see a bit of them. Like I could tell you, many people I've heard literally ran the TDs out their door when they're knocking on the door. Literally ran them away because they didn't want to speak to them. Nobody wants to see them knocking on the doors. But people are sick of them. As one man said to me, and I quote this, he said to them, I wouldn't give, like with Fianna Fáil, it wasn't a councillor, but it was somebody canvassing on behalf of Fianna Fáil trying to get them to vote. And he said to them, go and fucking get the Ukrainians to vote for you, because they're the only people that would fucking vote Fianna Fáil nowadays. And that's what he said, and I quote that because he did say it. He said, I wouldn't give you a vote if he's giving me fucking £1 million. That's what he was like. And the Norwegian man said the fellow Fianna Fáil, he said, I'll go and get the Ukrainians to vote for me. That's what he was like. He didn't argue. You think your man would have sat and argued and said, Fianna Fáil will represent you and look after you. But no, he was like, no, we want to look after the Ukrainians more than the Irish people, basically. Because he was like, yeah, I will. So he didn't say, oh, we will look after the people here first, not like that. Too bad he didn't film it. It would have been funny to see. But he's dead right in saying it. But yeah, he knows. Like he should have. Like any opportunity, should have just said, fuck this and go as an independent, straight on stage. Like Mihamad would have collapsed, probably with the shock. But he was shocked. Like Mihamad, you can see the whole lot of them. Like you see Darragh O'Brien, I know he's talking about Darragh. Like you see Darragh O'Brien, where is it? If we play it. It's not going to play it. Today, maybe. And yeah, you try to like this sometimes, just somewhat to, like you can see Darragh O'Brien, you can see he's here in the background. But basically, yeah, the looks of, because Darragh O'Brien standing beside him, and literally when he was speaking, you could see Darragh O'Brien's face. It doesn't want to load. Fuck you again. Well, yeah, they'll probably just become one party after the next, because the won't exist. One of the parties won't exist. Fianna Fáil won't exist, really. Yeah, like the Ukrainians can vote in the local town elections, so, and as the man rightly said, go and get the Ukrainians to vote for you. Because he wouldn't vote them. He wouldn't. And you think they would have argued and said, no, Fianna Fáil will look after you. So he just ran away. Basically, he said he will go and get the Ukrainians to vote for him, to vote for this candidate for the council election. Let me see where I get this to play, sorry. But the fact of the matter is, the reason why people are canvassing, just to say, you're supposed to be going around saying to people, no, you're not really arguing with people, but arguing your point, basically. That, we want you to vote for them and they will do this and they will fight for you and stuff like that. But none of them will. They all just run away as soon as they're asked any question. Like you can see Darragh O'Brien. What did Darragh only say about Darragh O'Brien? I forgot what he said. Yeah, like Darragh O'Brien too is not going to get elected in the next election. We all know it. Even though he follows me on Twitter for some reason. Like, look at this. You can see when he's speaking. Like, look at the face of Darragh O'Brien. He literally looks like he's after swallowing loads of tuna or something like that. You can see as he speaks. Like, you can see his face. Like, he's so nervous. Like, look at this. His eyes are moving on my... Like, you see when he's actually questioning me Haman's leadership, etc., etc. Like, this man is, in fairness. And literally Darragh O'Brien, you can see how nervous he's getting. Like, it's not all smiles and stuff. You can see how nervous he's getting. Because he dared to, like, this is in the public press conference and stuff like that, behind the scenes around that the public won't see. Like, literally out in the open, and you can see your woman trying to smile and giggle. You can see me Haman and shut up. You can tell him just even waving hands. Shut up. No, be quiet. Shut up. And that's what goes on. So, but he should have. If there was ever a time he wanted to actually get elected, he could have just walked off the stage and left Fianna Fáil. It would have been the best thing ever. He would have generally, maybe I would, it was in Dublin, probably he is. But generally, I probably would have maybe considered giving him a vote. If he did say, fuck Fianna Fáil, the only traitors, walk off the stage, maybe I would have been like, actually, and he won as an independent, I would have been like, maybe, we give him credit where credit's due. He said, fuck the whole lot of Fianna Fáil. But he didn't. He's still in Fianna Fáil and stuff like that. Even though he probably got the head out of him behind the scenes. But, So I want to talk about this. So obviously we're going back to the Israel-Palestine conflict and stuff, and all in recognizing Palestine. So this I don't know how to phrase it, but this user, like not user, but Twitter user, let's put it that way. Ireland has no right to exist. Come again. Just to say, Israel was founded in the 40s. 1948 wasn't when Israel gained its independence. Ireland has been a country for hundreds of years, like been here for hundreds of years. We have an old traditions and stuff like that. And we are a lot older of a country, etc., etc. And we didn't look for the middle, like for America to fight our wars and stuff like that. So obviously they're very upset, these Zionists, that how dare Ireland not help Israel? How dare Ireland not give all the money in the world to Israel? So, first of all, Ireland has more of a right to exist than any country nearly in the world. And obviously, this is just anti-Irish. We talk about anti-Semite for that. As it says, Ireland's on the. But definitely, where's the hate speech bill? Because this is hate speech. But obviously, the Irish people don't include. If you dare say this about Israel, if you dare to say that about Israel online, like you would have got the Sheena O'Connor at your door. Like they would shoot you in this country. Imagine no TV if you dare say that. In Ireland, Hello, Tony. But yeah, long story short, I'm not happy. They're not happy. I'm just laughing because it is such a stupid comment. But anyway, it's a freedom of expression again. I talked about this yesterday. I made a video talking about it. So the Defence Forces lost a fifth over the past 2 years. Let me just get this article open just to explain, because I talked in more detail about it yesterday too. But it's pretty bad. It's badder than we thought it was. So it is quite bad. Like, to be totally honest, like at this stage, the Defence Forces will cease to exist in the next 5 years, because again, it's all part of the plan. The European Army, etc., etc. Fuck you, OT. I'm only looking at this because but apart from that, I don't care about OT. It's lost over a fifth of its personnel. So this is just to say, like, we fear the 1,664 staff have left in the last. This is only in 2 years, just to say. So if you added that up, as I said yesterday, you'd be maybe looking at 3,000. And that's only 2 years ago, from last year and the year before that. So imagine if you added this year and then the years before that. So I think it's 3,000, because it's a huge loss, and you see that it's not just from retirements and stuff like that. People, just the money's too bad. Like, as you see, 900. Like, for the Defence Forces only has about 7,000. 7,000, maybe 500 at the moment. Like, it used to be 10,000 used to have in the Defence Forces, as I say, a few years ago. But you can see 900 nearly left in 2022, excuse me. And then 750 last year. Like, if you add them two numbers together, that's a lot for just 2 years, and this is the thing. There's more people leaving every year than there is people joining, So it's not balancing the budget. And as she says, it's supposed to be around 11,500, which is far too low, just to say. I think it should be 24,000, 25,000 for the Defence Forces. That's probably what it should be for the population, because it should go by population. But it doesn't. So this is where am I here? Just to explain, because I said about the naval service. We turned the tide on, she said in the total committee, why the Navy recruited 68 people last year. This is the thing, the Navy recruited 68 people, which is very low, considering there's, I think, 300 or so jobs in the Navy at the moment. Like, it has 300 or 400 jobs on the go with the Navy, because they have nobody literally to man any ships. So only 68 people joining, they're still losing people. As I say, they've lost more. And this keep happening, there's more people losing. They're losing more people than they are gaining. In the first quarter of this year, 31 were recruited and 14 left. And it's only going to go up. But again, for everybody you're recruiting, more people are leaving. So it doesn't help. And then you add in retirements and stuff like that. So there's more people literally leaving than this. So it's not going well. As I say, the Defence Force's salary has risen from 39,000 to 39,000 since 2020, 34% increase. Which I do. I know people say that's a lot of money and stuff like that, but for the job that's in it, having to go abroad and stuff like that, and having to do loads of training, get up early every morning, etc., etc. Being in the Navy too, being out at sea for a long time, maybe going out to the Middle East or going out there on humanitarian missions, or whatever. It's a very challenging job. Let's put it that way. So to be totally honest, I know it sounds like a lot, but it should be, to be totally honest, for an ordinary member of the Defence Forces, it should be about 50. I know it says it's a lot of money. 50,000 a year would be what I think should be a very highly, because again, as I said in the video, yes, the people in the Defence Forces should be highly trained, highly qualified and stuff like that. And that would justify a big wage, 50,000 euros so a year, etc., etc. And that would encourage people to join the Defence Forces, because again, you nearly would probably get more in Tesco. Like I don't know specifically how much I own a year, but I nearly probably own as more than people in the Defence Force. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality for somebody cleaning the streets. So and then to go on about military equipment, etc., etc. So basically not good. Basically, long story short. Yeah, like the British, like as I say, it all goes back to colonialization. It was the British at the end of the day, because it was the Palestine and Israel, all part, even Jordan and stuff like, were British colonies. So it was the British really, and it's it all goes down to colonization. Same in New Catalonia. You probably see with the Wyatt's in New Catalonia, past New Guinea, there near Australia. It's a still French colony and stuff. They want their independence. It all goes back to colonization. We see in the Congo too with Belgium. When Belgium granted the Congo independence, it erupted into civil war. Again, it's all down to colonization. That's what happened. But I know I keep talking about the Defence Forces, but it's important because to be, in my view, to be a sovereign nation, I know sovereignty. Imagine saying it's sovereign in 2024. But to be a sovereign nation, in my opinion, you should have your means to defend yourself, basically. To be a sovereign nation, you should have the means to defend yourself. And I say that again. To be a sovereign nation, you should have the means to defend yourself. And at the moment in time, we have no means to defend anything. As the Defence Forces Commission last year said, we couldn't defend one county in Ireland. Not even Leitrim could be defended if it was invaded, basically. Long story short. And that's terrible. Not even one county can be defended. So if you add the whole culture together, then it's a sad state of affairs. And to put it even sadder state of affairs, Denmark in the Second World War that lasted 6 hours when the Germans invaded, they had 15,000 men and people in the army. And Denmark, and even Denmark nowadays, have more people in the army. It's pretty sad state of affairs when you see that. Denmark. Yeah, I know about the guards, but I don't think in the Defence, not that many probably want to join the army. Like people turning up. I don't think they will, because it's too little money. Like the guard gets paid a lot more than a person in the Defence Forces. They're not going to do it. Anybody that's turning up. There's very few in the Defence Forces that would be willing to, people turning up out of the blue from Timbuktu. They wouldn't want to, and it'd be too much work, etc., etc. And they wouldn't want to do it. When they could sit in the dole and get a huge amount of money every week, why would they probably do it? Because people in the dole probably get more money than this. This is a sad way. The people probably actually do, and the dole get more than that. And that's sad when you hear that. So this is in, I can never say this, but this is part of Dublin. So obviously at the moment I feel sorry for them. They're going through how obviously loads of people can just push them to the community, etc., etc. No engagement, just push there. We seen the OIC the other night come along and battle people out of the way, etc., etc. The OIC. So this security guard, this is the other day now, said fuck the whole lot of it and left to us and fucked off basically. And fair play to her. She went off and she said fuck the whole lot of it and she left. So fair play to this woman, this security woman. We need a lot more people like that, just saying no, I won't do it. But yeah, fair play to her. Just wanted to say that. But again, we've seen the OIC. We'll go back to this eventually in a few minutes because I want to talk about the OIC, the Royal Irish Constabulary on Garda Síochána, in other words. They never left, unfortunately. We've seen the OIC the other night to batter people up and down the street for opposing it and stuff like that. So, look, they never left. Never been collateral damage. Yeah, but it's the same even colonisation here. When the Scots and stuff were put here, the plantation, etc., etc. The older plantation, not the modern day plantation, obviously. But that's why the country's divided basically. Because the Protestant North, people from Scotland and England moved to Northern Ireland back in the day, and that's why with the fight. So it goes back to colonisation too. It's the same with everything. Really goes back to colonisation. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all these places. To be totally honest, it's desperately hard to keep up with it. We'll be talking about that now in a second too, about places like that. Hello, everyone. I know a few people just started joining. What is this here? I forget. Oh yeah, so this thing keeps happening, like election posters. As you see here, this is I think a Sinn Féin. Yeah, Sinn Féin, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't know what was going on here, particularly in this instance. I don't really know what was going on. So like Patrick Tobin's face is cut out of here and put there with a mustache, and I don't know. Like it's a weird situation. In this poster wasn't. I don't know where they got this face from, but I don't know. But to be totally honest, this is like there seems to be a junction, like going in this way. So it seems like a bad enough place to put election posters, but it looks like. I don't know what to make. But as I said before, people like to have election posters, even though I don't agree with this person. At the end of the day, it's a democratic right. The same as if I was running for election or you were running for election, we have a right to have our posters up. The same as everybody. Yeah, but like again, at the end of the day, if they do no harm, you can just ignore them. Basically, that's what I keep saying to people. But no, I just thought this is a very peculiar kind of thing. But this is what's happening. And then in Cavan too, the posters, every poster has been taken in the Kiltil, like the Kiltil area. They're just all disappearing. Like they're disappearing. They're not being damaged, they're just gone. Wherever they've been gone. It's still happening, whatever's happening with it. I don't get it. Yeah, like that's what's happening at the moment. They get people from Northern Ireland to go down to the sites of the security, etc., etc. But we see what happens to those. But yeah, no, but no, it's quite. I don't know what they were trying to do. To be honest, that's what. But I want to talk about this. This is very, I know maybe conspiracy theory 2.0. Yes, 1,400 empty houses in Monaghan could get grants. So obviously, straight away, just for Ukrainians. It's not for Cavan people. It's for Ukrainians. It's going to be for people, international protection applicants. We all know it. It's inevitable. It's not for the because for years I've advocated along with other people in Cavan because there's so many houses abandoned, etc., etc. For years we've been crying out, even before Ukraine was invaded, etc., etc., for houses to be done for people on the council waiting list, to lower the council waiting list. Even though it costs a lot more money to do up a house and stuff like that, I do agree with that. It does cost a lot more money to build a house, because you have to insulate it and all that, and there's a lot of money. They've done a few houses up down here before, like 3 years ago, and they're very good. They are good condition. They're kept well, stuff like that, but they're not all done up to the last now. But houses like this, like you see the roof and stuff like that, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot more to nearly do up these houses and build them. But still, at the end of the day, it's a sin to see houses like this go to waste and will be used and stuff like that. But the thing about it is, and this is the sad reality of it, it's going to go to people that are not even from the county, that haven't even lived here for a month. They're going to get the house. And then people on council waiting lists are going to be there for another decade, maybe, because in Cavan, the average waiting list for a council house now for an only Irish Joe is 10 years or so, maybe 15. It's getting better now. It's starting to get better, but as you see, 800 empty properties in Cavan and 600 Monaghan. So like it's definitely going to be for people from Timbuktu to come in. And I do mean, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's funny how it's all been done now, because for years there's been arguments and back and forth about, oh, we do up this house, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do up these houses. No, we're not. No, we are, maybe, no, maybe. But all of a sudden now there's a big push. Oh, we have to get all these houses done very quickly and stuff like that. We need to move heaven and earth. So I presume this is all going to go to people that's not from the country, basically, long story short. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just conspiracy theory 2.0. But it seems to be, because for years, like some of the houses that they're talking about, I know of some of them. And for years, there's been back and forths from councillors, from TDs, from the community, from this, from that, from the other. There's a few houses in Belturbet there. For years, there's been arguments about doing them up, and the council bought a few of them. And then they were saying they could do them up. Maybe we won't do them up. We might give it another year. We do it then. We do it here. And all of a sudden now there's a big push. Let's do them up right now. Right here, right now. So there's a huge push to get these done. So I'm presuming, because again, they never really care if it's an Irish person. That's to be totally honest with you. If it's somebody from Timbuktu, they move heaven and out. But if an Irish person looking for a house, they wouldn't care less. Simple as that. So that's my presumption. Because it's the same with the modular homes in Carvendale. For years, that site out by the hospital was argued over. We could build a council estate here. We could do this. For literally 20 years, there's been arguments about building the council estate, etc., to lower the waiting list, etc., etc. They've been for years, and all of a sudden, as soon as the Ukraine war happened, 300,000 euro each, these houses were built, etc., there, these modular homes, and everything was pushed, and there was no debate over it. It was just done. It's a long story, but I could go on for an hour about it, because it just goes to show you how quick things were just pushed aside. And every argument was just silenced and shut up. So what to talk about this too when I'm here. So Monaghan Council talks about anxiety in kids, and this is a big part. It is a big part of school life of young people, particularly teenagers, etc., etc. It does play a part. Obviously, somebody that suffers from anxiety myself. I understand this probably more than a lot of people. I was just going into maths and stuff like that. I used to have a dreadful teacher in maths, and she used to just be the Antichrist. And that would play on you all day, and that would play to you the next evening when you go home, etc. That you have that class tomorrow morning. It does play into it. And not even that day-to-day things, doing metalwork, for example. I was always actually going into metalwork and woodwork, because I tell you, I'm useless at making stuff with my hands. Take, for example, woodwork or metalwork, I'm useless. I'm dreadful. I've never been good at this. People I know that are gifted to make brilliant stuff. Where is that now? Do I have it here? There's a person that used to be in my class, used to make pens and stuff like that. He made great pens. He made this pen and stuff like nice carving and everything. He was gifted along with many. He was very gifted. There's just generally some people that are gifted, some people that are not. And it does have a role, again, a lot of as I say, going into metalwork and stuff, it does have a role to play in school and stuff like that. And it does affect your grades and stuff, but at the end of the day, fuck grades. It doesn't matter. As long as your health is your out, and to fuck with your grades, as long as you do good enough and you do your best, fuck it. That's the way I see it, because at the end of the day, we're too busy worrying about grades and stuff like that, and we should be more worried about the person, the individual, than the fucking grades. Because at the end of the day, this sounds probably pretty out of normal, but at the end of the day, grades will be there when you're dead and gone. To fuck with it all, long story short. But yeah, no, I had to talk about the birth weights too tonight too, so we get around to that too. But it is important too for every school, secondary schools and primary schools, to have guidance counselors and counsellors there to talk about issues because it's not addressed. But it does have an issue. It does have a role to play in school because oftentimes when I was absent from school and stuff, like I do admit, it was because I had maths and stuff, and I wasn't just able to deal with that maths teacher. I wasn't able to deal with something in school because it was too much pressure and stuff like that. And that's to be totally honest. So it does play a role. It does have a hand in school absence and stuff. And we do have to take a lot more, particularly young men, particularly. We have to take a lot more serious their mental health, etc., because it's hard for a young man to say I'm not doing okay or not coping well. But it's a hard thing to say. I know from experience. I know I can really get a PhD in that. But once you say it, it's a lot better. But it's getting that message across. That's the hard part. To be totally honest with you. But it does have effect. But I just wanted to bring that up because again, I could be a PhD on this because I've seen it all. And I've seen it all in schools and stuff, and I experienced it. I know of it. I know the struggles. And it's important when you know these things. Like this is true too. Like with this, as I say, and I just looked at the bone in my eye that a lot of students and stuff like that are up late playing on the phones, playing the PlayStation, whatever night, and they don't go to schools to sleep in the morning and stuff like that. That does happen, and I suppose it's not good for somebody to be on the computers or on the everything. It does have an effect on your mind, and it does tire you. Obviously, it tires you out. Obviously, first of all, but it does have an effect because it keeps your mind active at night, and you can't go to sleep when you do go to sleep. But I'm sure even adults are guilty of that too. But I try and not look at my phone before I go to sleep. But it is hard to. But see, that's just the modern age now. But it does have an effect, of course. It has an effect. No. We go and talk about the Cavan Bertobel and Miss Bertobel. So the area that I would have ran in if I was going as a councillor here in this area of Cavan. So it's quite a big constituency because I know a few people are asking me about it. So it's quite a bit. So I'm here. I can't even fucking see because so this is me here, just on the board of this constituency in Butler's Bridge, and obviously Cavan Town is in the constituency too. And then you have Bertobel, Ballyconnor, Black Lion, Swan and Bow up there, Killashandra's there. So quite a big constituency, one of the highest populated out of the three constituency, because Cavan Town's obviously with 10,000 people, and then you have Bertobel with about 3,000 or so. Ballyconnor has, I think, 4,000, is it? I don't know, something like that. It's big, huge towns, and then Killashandra too. And obviously Bertobel used to be a bigger town and stuff like that, but it's just really dead, to be totally honest now. There's not much going on in Bertobel anymore. But yeah, big towns, like huge big towns. Particularly Cavan Town, obviously, and then you had Bertobel, Ballyconnor, and Killashandra, three big towns in the one area. Compared to maybe Cotillo and the other municipal authorities isn't as big as it used to be. It's dead now. Cotillo is just gone. There's nothing really there. And then you have Ballybough, but Ballybough is not doing that well either. And then you have Kingscourt and stuff like that. All the small towns in Cavan not doing too well, apart from the main town and stuff. Then the other areas, obviously, Belgium stuff and Virginia and stuff now, but mainly by population and stuff, it's the highest populated. Yeah, but this is just the municipality. This is the leg of Cavan. This is the area that I'm in. But it's quite a big constituency. It's bigger than the West. It is big. It is a leg. It's Kentucky bone, yeah. See, the border was through rivers because there's loads of rivers and stuff like that. And it's complicated. Like this part you see here, this is Butler's Bridge here. You cross over here, you in Monaghan, and then you go over 6 or 7 times from the Republic of Ireland to England, to Republic of Ireland to England. It's mess, the border there. Like this line here, it's just a mess. Like anybody would tell you, this is the messiest border here ever. Because you cross into Northern Ireland 5 times, then into the Republic 2 times, then you're back and forth, and it's a lot of bullshit. So this is funny in this constituency. Obviously, Madeline is for Tyrone, and obviously wish her the best. Only 4 of the councillors that were there before are seeking re-election. So Madeline Narkin is with Tyrone at 25 years. Her daughter's taken over, but long story short, just want to briefly touch on Madeline Narkin. I think people don't know if people see the video the other day. What was it? Just on the here. Only the referee wants for, yeah. Because usually that's where borders are drawn from, weathers and landmarks and all that. Where was it? Oh, it was in the nobody should be taking down election posters, etc. I don't know if people seen that. But long story short, I was in the town the other day. Yeah, like it's literally like Clover Hill is down there in Buttersbridge. It's the last town in the Republic of Ireland before you cross into Northern Ireland, then you cross into Monaghan, and then you cross into Northern Ireland again. Like it's a mess. It's a total mess just down that Clonus Road, the border. You cross in a few times. So Buttersbridge is basically right on the border. Like you're not that far both ways. About Tub, is a few miles that way, and then apart from that, just straight into Northern Ireland. Like you're basically nearly in Northern Ireland. Like it's not that far away both ways. But it is a mess. Like if you ever look up any video stuff like that, just going back to it, it's the most messiest border probably in Ireland and England. Like this part here, because again, Monaghan's up here, but you have to cross in a few times into Northern Ireland to go to Monaghan, because the border was never really established. Like here, they can see it all being rugged. It's the same across this part of the border. It's just a mess. It's the biggest messy border probably in the European Union. But yeah, I'll talk about Maddie Nalkin for a second. So I was in town the other day. I don't know if you watched that video where I explained it. Maddie Nalkin was talking to a young woman with a baby, like with a young child at the bus stop there in the town. I happened just to come by, even though she knew who it was and stuff like that. And the woman that was sitting down, and even though she's there 25 years, Maddie Nalkin, she's posted up for years. I've seen them myself. The woman didn't have a clue who she was. Didn't have a clue, never heard of her. She said, never heard of you in my life. And looked at her like she had 9 heads, the councillor has been there for 35 years. Never heard of you in my life. And she's an Irish woman that's been here all her life, and in her mid-30s or so. And she basically looked at her like she had 9 heads and never seen you in my life. Which is funny, because again, it just goes to show you that a lot of people don't give a shit about politics, especially probably that woman, because she's a young child and stuff. Like, why the fuck would she care about politicians? And their fake promises and stuff like that. But it's just funny to see it. I found it funny. But obviously Maddie Nalkin's not the worst. I will admit that she's not the worst person. And all the times I've talked to her and stuff like that, she never was mean or anything like that to me. So she's been always. I found her always to be fair enough, to be reasonable enough. Anyway, that's the way I see it. But maybe I'm just too biased. Whatever. Then obviously you have Anya. I keep saying Annie. I have a habit of saying Annie Smith, Anya Smith, the daughter of the late Sean Smith, he was a good man now, Sean Smith. He served on the council for 43 years, would you believe that? He was a good man. He died from cancer last year. I have great respect for him, great respect for the man. To his dying day, he served as a councillor, basically. Even when he was on his deathbed and stuff like that, he was still taking phone calls from his constituents and stuff about problems. So, you really have to hatch your hat off to that, because not many people can do that. And, when they're hospital, literally dying from cancer, he still took phone calls and stuff. So you do have to give him, it was very noble of him, let's put it that way. Yeah, like it's a mess. It is a mess, that part of the border. Like it's dreadful. If you're ever down this part of Ireland, it's a mess. Like some parts of the road, have kilometers and then the into miles, and it's gone. Yeah, but even though he was a Fianna Fáil councillor, it's at the end of the day, when you see that kind of thing, you do have to say that he did his duty to the end, and that's the end of the day. He did it. He did. So in fairness, even though he's Fianna Fáil, many people would say, Fianna Fáil and stuff, but you do have to give credit where credit's due, especially because, again, for such a long time service as councillor, not even that, his final day is still walking away, and his daughter's a good, nice person too. I will say that. I know I'm being probably biased, Fianna Fáil biased or whatever. No, I'm not being biased. I wouldn't speak highly unless I knew the well. Like I don't agree with the party, obviously, but they were nice enough. They were good people. I met Sean Smith a few times about different things when he was alive and stuff like that. He was always genuine, very nice person. Cared a lot about this part of Cavan. He was one of the driving forces too behind Cavan. He was very supportive of that when that started up. So, yeah, he was nice. He was a nice person, and his daughter's nice person. But again, I wouldn't agree with the party, and I'm sure they know that. But the nice people, like nice personalities, but on principle, like on the party, since I wouldn't agree with them. But they're good people. They're good people, but they're kind of you get what I'm saying. Yeah, between Scotland and surrounding the kingdoms, yeah, and there's nothing like that unfortunately around here. But yeah. So his daughter Annie Smith's one, the same as Maddie Nauken's daughter. So obviously we have a lot of Sinn Féin. We have a Labour Party, which is fun. Man, we talk about it more, and then we have Aontú team right now. An independent. We do even we get there someday. So there's another Sinn Féin now. So there's two Sinn Féin in this constituency. One of them used to be in the army. Would you believe? We choose someone for now. They're saying. So I just want to talk about the census and stuff. A modest but steady increase in the population through the natural growth and immigration, traditionally a rural area, young folk leaving. Again, this is a lot of young people left this area. In the 20 census reported 28,000 people. So there's 28,000 people in this constituency. Just to say more, maybe a bit more now. As I say, significant area within Cavan Town, both the loud settlement and like nearly 11,000 people in Cavan Town. The age profile is about 30% under 18. So a young enough population, 30%, but it's a huge elderly population in this part of Cavan. The working age of municipality is from 16 to 64. That's the average age of people in this county, 16 to 64. This part of Cavan makes up 15% of the population. This is the total, and then elders 65 and over the constituency makes up 15%. So I found this interesting. Now the majority of Irish, 90% of this area, are like the majority of rural towns, mainly Cavan Town and Ballyconnor, are very multiculturalized compared to rural parts of Cavan, this part of Cavan. Stuff like that. So it says about Sinn Féin literally collapsing in the last election, but they are going to get seats here. It's inevitable, and stuff like that. This was a big issue with the last a few years ago with the two secondary schools, but that's been resolved now and stuff like that. So there's 4 independents, one and 20. They got 48 more than the rest, yeah. Yeah, it talks about the Sinn Féin wall, this wall, brick wall here. Yeah, he's from the town there and stuff like that. There's a lot to be said about other candidates. There's 36 actually. Just before I said, there's 36 going in the 3 municipalities for Cavan County. You can see them pop up, can you too? There's 36 of them going. Now there's a few things to be said about one or two of them now. Hello, Tony. Sean, Tony. Hello. I'm going to call you Tony now. There's 2 Tonys. How does that sound? I'm saying hello to you again, Tony. How does that? But yeah, so I make a video discussing the politicians in this area, who I think you should vote for. But on first opinion to people, I don't know, there's probably a good few people watching me in this area. They're probably not logged into the accounts or whatever, but they would probably listen to what I have to say in terms of who I'd be endorsing for this area if I was going. Now, obviously, I'm not going, but just to endorse somebody for who's going for this area, basically. And I would say Brendan Fay, independent councillor Brendan Fay, let me see. It's from Beltober that second. That's who I would say to people straight off the bat, who to give your number 1 vote to. In this part of Cavan, in the Beltober Cavan municipality. Let me find this out. That's who I would say. I make a video discussing it and all that, but Let me see. Probably should put on the light now, talk. But that's who I suggest to people to vote for in this area. If you know anybody in this part of Cavan, in the Cavan Beltobit area, that's who I would suggest to vote. In this area, like where I am at the moment, Buttersbridge, Ballyconnor, up along there, that constituency. Do I have the article? I do. But just to suggest, because this is who I'd be endorsing, because I do want an independent. There's no Irish Freedom Party who enter that in this area of Cavan. So I want, I wasn't, even though I would have been one as an independent, I would want to see one independent get in this area. And especially because he's there at the moment, he's the only independent candidate for the last 25 years or so in Cavan, got in. There's never really been many independents in this area because this has been a strong Fianna Fáil foothold and Fine Gael foothold over years, but it's starting to crumble a bit. So that's who I would say. So this is Councillor Brendan Fay. He's from Beltobit. He owns a bar in Beltobit. He's involved. He's a member of the Tidy. I think he's the chairperson of the Tidy Towns. But fucking hours. Hey, Gilly, can I please turn this off? This is actually getting me wick. So yeah, it's long story short. You can read there. They asked them about. In fairness, the Anglers have asked this question, which a lot of news articles wouldn't ask. Has Alan taken enough? So basically, he says, long story short, he says this is insane, which is true. That they have literally no plan of just bringing in people and throwing them everywhere, which is not going to end well. It's not a good way to do things. But long story short, he had a big influence. Like I think I remember people saying about Castlesong, which is down the road. It's just on the border of Cavan. We're going to put loads of refugees and stuff like that into it. But technically, Brendan Fay, along with the community down there in Castlesong, I'm sure people remember me talk about it. But Brendan Fay was one of the only councillors that stood up and said, this shouldn't be allowed to happen, and it didn't happen technically. So it could happen anytime soon again, but for the moment, it hasn't happened. But again, Brendan Fay was the person who stood up for them and said, it shouldn't be allowed to happen, along with the local community. But the rest of the council was nowhere to be seen. The rest of the Fianna Fáil councils were nowhere to be seen. So, in fairness, to give him credit where credit's due now. Into again, we talk about into there's an into power force in this area. We talk about that. There's a lot to be said in the moment, but I will say straight off the bat that there should be more against migration and stuff like that. There should be questioned a lot more, and they have a big stronger policy to be doing that. Apart from that, maybe, But yeah, long story short, you can look this up in the Anglo side too. But if you know anybody in the Cavan Beltobit area, because I want to see, obviously, still he's a councillor for this area, he still is at the moment. But I really want them to see get re-elected to Cavan County Council. So if you know anybody in the Cavan Beltobit Municipal Authority, like in this area, please consider giving him a vote, because he is an independent man. He's non-party. He's working for himself, and he's as I say, he's a nice person. He's really, really nice. I've met him a good lot of times. He's very keen, and particularly in Beltobit too. He's got a lot of money for projects to do up different things in Beltobit. So he's done a lot. And then obviously he's involved with the local tidy towns there. He's doing a lot for them in Beltobit in terms of tidy towns. And obviously the local man to Buttersbridge, which was Beltobit's literally just out 5 minutes out the road. So, we can read through all this, but this is who I would endorse for this area. It's Councillor Brendan Fay. So I do suggest to give him a vote, give him the number one for the municipal majority elections here. That's who I would suggest. So if anybody knows anybody in this area, please, if you could do that, that'd be great. Yeah, it's a good time. But again, as I say about Castlesong too, he spoke up for the people there. And there was I've seen no others, really. There was no other councillors around here. There were nowhere to be found when that came along, when that issue came along. So in fairness, he stood up and was counted for in that issue. So in fairness, he's done a lot for this area and stuff like that. He's helped a lot of people out too. in terms of this area too, and Butters Bridge and stuff, that he's helped a lot of people out. A lot of people have went to him, I think. So obviously being the local councillor, a lot of people would know him, etc., etc. So he's been a lot of as he says here, I missed this. Attacking the legal measures needs to be the foot of any new system. So basically saying if you don't have your documents, get out, basically, which should be the way. But again, in modern day Ireland, it doesn't seem to be. But it's just the truth. So we just say he has a strong immigration policy too, compared to the other candidates in this area. So I do suggest then voting for giving him a vote. Yeah, it's a different municipality. It's the Kittil-Beltobin municipality, and I talked with her too. Yeah, literally, fortunately, no deportation. It was about 100, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was 100 or something. It was very little compared to the amount of people coming in. As what the government said last week or the week before, there's something like 22,000 coming in this year. And then there'll be another 22,000 next year. So you'll be looking at maybe, and that's what they're saying. That's not counting what they're not saying. That's what they're omitting. Just to say, because there's definitely probably nearly 400,000 people, or maybe 300,000, have come into the country now in the last few years. But yeah, so there's 3 municipalities there in this area. So I would have been going for this area where Brendan Fay is going, because obviously this is my home area. Yeah, it's far too many. But he's the only one speaking up for it. Again, as an independent, I understand why the Fianna Fáil councillors vote. And believe me, I've talked to them about it. I've pleaded with them to be counted and to speak up and counted. But again, a lot of them, they are just, you can't speak because the hands are tied, really. Fianna Fáil would probably drive them up the bend. The same with them councillors said, and God spoke up and Fianna Fáil literally abused them, basically. But this is my area, as I say. So Kittil is just over the other side, just to say. I try and get you a map just to show you. And I might as well talk too about who I would vote for if I was in Kittil. But I do ask people to do me that favour now too, to make sure, because I want to see an independent get elected to this area, even though he's still there at the moment. But let's keep him there. Let's put it that way. That's what I want to see. So if you can do me that favour, anybody that knows anybody in this area, please do give them a wing or a message to them to say, please consider giving him a vote. I'm trying to get the Kittil municipality just to show you. Obviously, I'll be doing a whole video giving my whole opinion on who you should vote for. But that's just the top of my head. I would talk about Kittil and stuff like that now. So there's a lot of good candidates. I will admit this. I wish I was in the Kittil area at the moment. I wish I was in Dixie. Hooray, hooray. No, we're not going to Dixie. Let me just see. I'm trying to get a good picture just to show you. Because there's 3 areas for Cavan County Council, and there's 16 seats for Cavan County Council that needs to be filled. So I'm just trying to get a good visual map, because it's hard to actually show. Yeah, here we are. Sorry. Hi. So this is my municipality up here. It's mine. So this is obviously the area we're just talking about. So this is the Kittil municipality. So it's a lot smaller. Cavan's this area is bigger than the 2 others. So Kittil is about here, just on the border between this one and that one. So that's Kittil, this area. And then obviously Kingscourt, Fannel is up there and stuff. Then this is Ballygym stuff, Virginia municipality. So it's a Kittil Bay municipality. That's the one. I know it's difficult to explain. Municipal authorities are hard to explain. It's a lot of people don't even know. What's what. Yeah, it's true. It really should be like back in the day. Cavan Town was its own separate area. Like Cavan Town wasn't added to this. It was a lot of changes a few years ago. Like Cavan Town, the area around Cavan Town was its own Cavan Town Municipal Authority. But the regular, I think it was 2009 or something. They got rid of it. The town council, the town council. They got rid of the town council. That's happened. So it was a bit smaller about over there, and then Cavan Town was added along with the surrounding areas and stuff to increase the population and stuff. But to be totally honest, Cavan Town should be its own, electoral area because it's that big of a town. They should have their own. They used to have 3 councillors. Now that they don't. But anyway, so I will give my opinion on who to vote for. Now I know this would be very controversial. I know you probably will give out to me. But I generally do think this councillor is a very, very good person. I've had many, dealings and worked out many things with her and stuff like that. So I will say she is a good person. She's a good councillor. She's done a lot for that part of Cavan. She topped the poll in the last election. She literally topped it. She literally abolished Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael in the polls. She literally ran them into the next country. Basically, she literally took off on like about 1,000 extra votes compared to the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael councillors. And so, in fairness, she's doing something right if she's topping the poll with such a big majority, like 1,000 extra votes. Getting elected in the first count, etc., etc. So she's doing something right. Now I know people say about A2 and stuff like that. So it's Councillor Sarah Wiley. She is a very good councillor. Like I just said straight out, she's one of the better in Cavan County Council. She's a good person. She's done a lot. Many things I've went to before. I went to a lot. I went to Sarah Wiley. Naming one off the top of my head actually is to do with the dog bins, etc., which was in Ballyhis whole area. So people came to me about the dog bins down there in Ballyhis. They needed them because for years they've been discussing about putting dog bins and stuff. So I went to Council Sarah Wiley about it. And literally the next day after I rang her that evening, the next day, and I literally mean the next day that morning, phone call from the council. They were there that evening. Basically, the bins were there that evening. So, long story short, things were done very quickly. I wasn't waiting a week or two for an answer. Straight away, onto the phone and done something. So, she is a good councillor. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Like some of the Indian candidates I have, I might not agree. Particularly, I say about the Intu's immigration policy, but she is a good councillor for being in that area, basically to do with potholes and stuff like that, and for like other issues like community issues and stuff like that. That's who I would say that you should give your number one vote to, particularly because she works well with people in the community. She does work very, very well. She does genuinely care about people in that area. I could name many of them. I can name many things that she was involved with. I could literally write an essay. Like I have a lot of praise for Council Sarah Wiley. And for literally me to say I have literally an essay to say of all the things she's done for that area and for different parts of Cavan, I would literally be here all day to be totally honest. So long story short, even though I would criticize A2 for not having a strong immigration policy, she's owned her bread and butter basically in terms of getting the number one vote. And that's who I would give my number one vote to in the Bailey. Even though it's an A2 candidate in this area, but I wouldn't give him my number one vote. To be totally honest, in this part of Cavan, I wouldn't give it, but I would give it to Council Sarah Wiley if I was in that area, basically. Let's put it that way. So this is the Bailey Booker Till. I don't know. Like they should have probably asked a few questions. Like they asked, how do you unwind? And as I say, why should people vote for you? And the dog have great empathy with people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like exactly what she said. Like everybody says this. It's not just me that says this. She's great empathy with people. Like you wouldn't think she's a councillor. Let's put that way. Like then usually some of the councillors are high and mighty, with their chains and stuff like that. But you wouldn't generally think she's a councillor by meeting on the street. You generally wouldn't. Which is a good thing because you have that common touch with people, and that's a good thing to keep your common touch. And she's a good sense of humour too, which is a good thing because a lot of the councillors are, there's a few of them who could brighten up a bit. That's why. Because I know you have to be serious and stuff, but of course, you can't be just literally looking like you're about to kill somebody, even though there's a lot of that, but yeah, the talk about housing supply. Obviously, the main things in these three municipal authorities are immigration, housing, and mainly the other big thing. A lot actually, immigration would be forced first of all, and then potholes. The potholes are literally people are up in arms over potholes in this county, and then it'd be housing. Um, as she says about yeah, as she says here, literally, this is the fact. We've done more than nearly any other European country, etc., etc. So go, it's a long, like some of the councils only said about 6 things about it. So she's literally said a lot on immigration, etc., etc. As she says about roads too, a lot of people in Cavan would want to see stuff done about the roads. Yeah, as she says about like the Green Party and stuff like that, it shouldn't really be on the top thing. Like obviously little in day to day one enough the council and stuff like that should be in the top because obviously this county is the Cavan town is not the best looking in terms of that. Like Monaghan's won away with it basically, so we do have to contest Monaghan and stuff like that. In terms of like Little and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's just like it's a whole different kettle of fish talking about the European elections. Like we haven't even got there yet. We haven't even got to what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. It'd be literally years because I have to try and explain to everybody that I think you should vote. And it's going to be a lot because there's a lot of candidates. Like I'm literally going to go up the bend. It's just that many. But that's who I would suggest. Now I know. Look, a lot of people say about A2 and stuff like that. But I do think, like, in fact, I wouldn't be saying it. Like, I haven't endorsed the candidate here in this part of Cavan, and I haven't endorsed the other candidate for N2. So the 3 candidates for N2. But I've said it before. I've said in the last election too, people should vote for Councillor Sarah O'Reilly, and I still stick to that because she's done good work. And I'm not going to sit here and say she hasn't because she's done more probably than some of the other councillors, which is, and that's just straight up truth. She's done a lot. And I never forget too, and I don't think she forget it too. The time the first Cavan Day, I don't know if you remember, but she was mesmerised that the Cavan Day done so well. I remember on Northern Sound in the local radio station that morning, like afterwards. Oh no, the day off Cavan Day, on that day, that evening, when it was trending #1 in Ireland during the lockdown. I don't know what she must. She was very, very confused, and how we managed to do that kind of thing, But anyway, no, she's a good councillor. So do give her #1 now. If you know anybody in the Ballybogue Cotillo Municipal Authority, do give her #1 vote. And there's a few others actually, because there's a few more people I would say if you don't give councillors so well. But to be totally honest with you, as I said, she topped the poll before in that area in Ballybogue, but the Ballybogue Cotillo. Sorry, I'm getting muddled now with all this talk. She topped the poll and she bet Fianna Fáil, bet Fianna Gael. So she's done that. But no, it's unfortunate that people can't just go anywhere and vote forever. But that's who I would say you should vote for in that area, like #1 to be totally honest. Because I do think it's important. I will say this to people: it's important to keep her where she is as a councillor. I know she probably won for the Dáil in the next election, but assuming she will. But I do think she's working well as a councillor. Even though I do think she would be a good candidate for the Dáil too. I will say that. So I'm just telling you, like I talk about in the whole different video all the things, but I'm just briefly touching it when I'm here, which I might as well. So there's 2 independents in the Cotillo Ballybogue Municipal Authority, and they're very strong in immigration. I will say that. The part with the Cotillo protest, I'm sure people remember the Cotillo protest. They were very active in that, and they're from Cotillo themselves. So I will endorse. So I would say if you don't vote Councillor Sarah Wiley, you could vote for them number one or give them your number two, whichever you choose. If you give Councillor Sarah Wiley your number one, please consider giving this woman and the other fellow I'm going to talk about too. Please consider giving them your second or fourth if you want to give you a fourth person. Yeah, I seen a bit of it. Like I seen them on the. I was actually very surprised. I wasn't expecting that to be done, but oh my god, the whole place is on fire. No, I'm only joking. The whole computer just flashed there for a second. It's the police. So you've probably seen this Fiona McGuckin. I can never say her name, the second name, but she's been nurse and stuff like that. So she's going to be. Main thing for her is immigration. That's what the main thing, because obviously she was part of the Cotillo group, Cotillo concerned citizens, etc. As she says here, definitely far too many. There are some kinds of systems, and they have in Australia forced you, blah 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 blah. Forced all of you keep your own people here. Often, predators noting they make better infrastructure. The government, etc. And sorry, my throat's dying because I'm speaking that much. But yeah, so long story short, going to be very tough on immigration. So she's going to be very, very tough. As you see, the first thing she's lobbying the government for immigration policy. So this lady, Fiona here, is going to be very, very tough on immigration. So I do suggest, if you vote Sarah Wiley number one, please consider giving Fiona your number two. Or if you wish to give her your number one, it's up to you. Again, it's debatable Cotillo Municipal Authority, just to say. And there's another fellow too I want to just briefly touch on in a second, which is he's in the same area, I suppose. He's another independent too. So I do suggest voting for either Councillor Sarah Wiley number one, and then vote her number two, and then vote your man number three. That's what I said. Yeah. Well, no, but see, as a councillor, this is the thing I realised too, as a councillor, if I was one. The only thing you really have, you don't have that much power as a councillor, but obviously in the EU candidate, you have a lot more power, etc. But you do have a voice, and that's the main thing, is being the voice to speak at the council chamber, etc. But yeah, no, definitely, she be, and then along with your man, did with the guest, be very, what would you call it, far right, allegedly far, because that's what they would say. They would say these people are far right, etc. But obviously, they're not far right. They're talking sense, and that's as simple as that. So I do suggest anybody in this area to give her a vote too. They seem to be good people. I don't think I ever met them, as far as I'm aware. Don't think I did. I don't think I ever came across them. I've heard of them before the election, etc. But I never met them. As far as I'm aware, maybe I did. I can't remember. Don't think so. Can't remember but I've heard of them. Before. And this is just it's a whole different kettle of fish. The European elections too. I get the other. I keep forgetting. See, there's that many candidates in my head screwed. Is that too many? To be totally honest. Yeah, my God. Well, what do you mean, Tree? Oh, you're not in this area, so unfortunately you can't vote in this area. But I'm just saying for people, if you know anybody in these areas in Cavan, to give them, to tell them really who you should really vote for. To be totally honest with you. Peg Gilly. Also, there's a Finnish agent in Cavan, which is great. He's going to support Irish democracy. We're going to take Irish democracy. Sorry, but I'm trying to get to see. It's hard to try and find everything. I have it saved to my computer. It's just that much. Like, I'm trying to remember everything about the elections. So, it's just far too much. Even though the 36 won in the 3 areas, and there's just far too much to try and remember all at once. And then not even to mention the European Union. I mean, like, my head's just gone. There's just far too much happening. There's just far too much. there's far too much happening these days. Barely know what I actually thought today was Friday when I woke up this morning just to say so. I must be just not with it these days. Where am I now? So I'm actually having a fit. Yeah, here we are. Gary Cosgrove. Yeah. I couldn't remember. Yeah, but so if you know anybody in these areas, please do like share this and just to explain, who I think you should vote for, etc., etc. I know my opinion doesn't matter, but just explain who I would vote for. Yeah. To be told answer. Like we will talk with you. I'm just going through the council ones at the moment. Like I will make a video just describing what I think. But I do recommend looking up the Anglo South, like these articles, because all the candidates have their whatever they stand for, etc., etc. Like their bios, it's supposed to be. But it would have been funny. This is the best part of it. It would have been funny if I was one, because the Anglo South generally would have to put down that he wants to annex Leitrim. We want to annex Leitrim. We want to take over Leitrim. We're going to restore the kingdom of Breffni. We're going to bring back the king in Breffni. We're going to bring back the chieftain. We're going to put the O'Reilly back on the throne. And they would generally have to sit there and put that down. Some journalists would actually generally have to sit there and put it down. And there these, immigration stuff like that, and God only knows what, and then have to basically explain that. They basically have to sit down and explain why this is on the wall. Because people are saying, why does he have a woman from Finland on the wall? Is he working from the Finns? Instead, he's working for the Russians. He's working for the Finns, and they would have to display. He has alleged Finnish connections to the Finnish government and stuff like that. He's allegedly working for the Finnish secret intelligence office, etc., etc. They would have to generally explain that, which would be funny. So long story short, this is Gary Cosgrove, independent. I'm dying. Right, I just seen that. I was going nicely. Well, fair enough. So he's going to be tough, very like same as Fiona on immigration. That's nearly his main issue. Yes, like as he says here, far too many people. You have economic migrants, which is the truth. He's basically just stating the truth there. And yeah, as you see, it's a lot of long statement on it. As he says, immigration policy. Like he was a part of the Contil Concerned Citizens along with Fiona. So I do suggest, again, these two candidates would be tough, along with Sarah O'Reilly. Sarah O'Reilly spoke a lot about immigration too. So I would suggest, what I would suggest, and the Peter say, I know that, I talked about in my own area, there's only one candidate I would enjoy, recommend you to vote, basically. But I would say folk council Sarah O'Reilly number one. Give Fiona Fiona the second vote. Give Gary your third vote. That's what I would say. If people want to do it either way, as long as you vote them in, they're the three people I think you should vote for the Baber Gatil and Municipal Authority. I'm going to keep getting mixed up. See, it's hard to remember all this crap. But in the next municipal authority, you will only be delighted to know there's actually an Irish Freedom Party candidate for from the Ballygym Stuff municipal authority. So you'd be delighted to know that. So give me a second now, and I'll try and get this. I'm going to go through the three municipal authorities when I'm here. Might as well. But I will make a video just explaining, a lot less time basically, because I didn't really plan to go through my whole thing. My whole thing. I didn't plan to go through my whole thing. That's a good thing. Imagine that. They ask you what's your policy. I didn't plan to go through my own thing. It would have been very funny, but if they did interview me if I was one for the local authority, imagine, God forbid, it would be crazy stuff I would come out with. because generally I'm likely to come out with anything, especially if I'm got elected to the council, I could come out with anything and just drive everybody up the bend. But it's fair to say all the councillors would go mad if I did, because generally it would be insane if I came along and started coming along with stuff. It would have drew them all to Belfast. From the words we born, this land was made for you and me. We're not even going to go there, but the Green Party. So in this part of Cavan, because I wouldn't vote the Green Party if you give me 50 billion euro. Maybe if you give me 15 billion euro, maybe I consider it, but I don't know about 15 billion now. Well, in the name of God and all the generations. No, oh my God, Piggly. Yeah, give me a second. I'm actually having a brain fit. Sorry about this, Evan. Again, I wasn't really organised for this now to go through it all. But that's who I would suggest. So make sure to tell your people who live in that area. This land was made for you and me. So yeah, just give me a sec. So this is for the Ballygym stuff area. If I would vote for, and who I think you should vote for, given the Ballygym stuff. So Kieran Goggins, he's the Irish Freedom Party. There's supposed to be an Irish People's Party person, but I don't know who he is, to be totally honest. I don't know who he is, but I know there's somebody, because people have been saying there's somebody from the Irish People's Party winning in this area, but I haven't known. I only knew about him winning last week, about the Irish Freedom Party winning Ballygym stuff municipal area. So I do suggest that you, if you live in this area, Ballygym stuff area, to please consider giving Mr. Goggins a vote in this area if you do. As it says, we establish Ireland's sovereignty. Imagine saying sovereignty. Yeah, I'm only joking, but you get what I'm saying. The Irish should be put first. Again, this is who I think you should vote in the Ballygym stuff, just to annoy the establishment. Really. So that's who I think you should vote in the Ballygym stuff. If you know anybody in the Ballygym stuff area, give them a call, give them a message, send them a pigeon. Not send them a pigeon, but give them a carrier pigeon and tell them to vote for this in the election, what they call the council elections. Excuse me, I'm actually dying from speaking too much. Anyway, make sure to give them a vote, basically, long story short. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the candidate is. I try and maybe find out here now. But I'm trying to find that out. If anybody knows, for the Ballygym stuff area, supposedly there's somebody from the Irish People's Party, but I can't find anything about it. And I don't even know who the person would be. To be totally honest with you, and I might have said straight, I don't know, to be totally honest. So if anybody does know, maybe please do let me know. If you could find out, if you know anybody in the Irish People's Party, just so I know. So at least if I think he's a good candidate or whatever, I could be like, yeah, give this a number one. There is another candidate I just briefly want to talk about for this area. If I could find it. See, the worst thing about it is trying to find these things. That's the worst thing about it. Now, I will make an honorable mention here. No, actually, well, give me a sec. I get to it in a few minutes. How does that sound? Big Gilly. And the snow is not speaking. Hmm. I'm trying to find this fucking yoke. Fucking yoke. Um. Yeah, here we are. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about the Irish Freedom, like the Irish People's Party. I don't know to be told. So if anybody knows anything, please, it would be greatly appreciated if you could let me know. Because I don't know who the person is to be told, to be genuine. So who I would suggest if there's no like the vote the Irish Freedom Party in that area, I would suggest to vote that in Ballygym stuff area. If anybody's from there or knows anybody, to give them a heads up. But I would suggest the second person you should vote for if you're in this area. You probably afford him. He used to be a Fianna Fáil councillor. It was Shane P. O'Reilly. For years, he was a Fianna Fáil councillor, and he left Fianna Fáil. So I do suggest giving him a vote too, because he was he became what do you call it? He lost, like, basically Fianna Fáil basically betrayed the way he sees it. Like, Fianna Fáil is not the country he used to be. Like, Fianna Fáil is not the party, not the country, not the people that he used to be. Yeah, as he says, we're taking in too many people. It's not about waste, it's about common sense, which is what everybody's trying to say. It's this statement alone which he hits the nail on the head. It's common sense. Like, that's the beginning and end of it. It can't go on forever. You can't just bring in fucking 50 billion people. It's common sense. Just we have fought in far too many. Simple as that. As Roger Goldman said, 22,000 people this year coming in alone. That's that last year, the year before that. So if this keeps continuing, there'll be no Irish person left in the country. There'll be just everybody from everywhere else, but there'll be no Irish people. So that's the way I see it. So do make sure to give Shane P. O'Reilly a vote. As he says, we're out on the stuff a bit, but I do suggest in the Ballygym stuff area, either you vote the Goggins or you vote Shane P. O'Reilly, whichever you think is the best. But I do suggest you vote for this, for them two people in this area. That's who I suggest in them. Yeah. But yeah, it's only suggesting. I'm not saying to people I'm pointing the gun to your head and saying you must vote. You know that. If you disagree, you can vote for whoever you want, but it's just who I would vote for if I was in that area too. Who would I vote for? Like, don't ask me to go through the whole counties now, because we'd be here all day. Disingenuous, yeah, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, just to get a few votes, I know, but he is an independent. He's better than Fianna Fáil or Fianna Gael. That's the way I see it. To be totally honest. But yeah, that's just my recommendations. But definitely in this area, I'd be voting Brendan Fay. Like he has, as I say about Brendan Fay, has a good track record. He stopped the one like the Casa Saunderson direct provision sector from starting up. So in fairness, he's shown that he's willing to stand up and be counted. So, but I don't know who the Irish People's Party is. Like, I try and figure this out now. I'm interested to know because I need to know anyway when I make that video if there is a person like in that area, just so I know for fairness. Oh my god, my god. Yeah, it says Northern Sound. Holland Farmers won in Belgium. The parties including the Irish People's Party, Irish Freedom Party. We know about the Irish Freedom Party. Oh, I've completely forgot that the councils have a legal obligation to put up a notice of who's won and for what. Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, there's as I said to you the day. I don't know what I said to you, but they're basically Russian MEPs. They're more worried about Putin and Russia than Holland. So this is the council. So every local authority is required. I only thought of that now. That every local authority is required to have like this up to say who's won it. So this is the Belly Gym stuff. Where is the Irish People's Party? This is the part of it what to see. As you see, there's loads of shinos. Yeah, we are. There we are. Kieran Goggins. Irish People's Party. There's Kieran Goggins. Oh, here we are. Lester Gordon. Never heard of him. I genuinely never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I have to look. At least I know now who. At least there is. So it is registered that there is somebody for the Irish People's Party. So I would suggest again, it was only rumor. I was going off there for a few minutes. So I would suggest too, if you want to vote for somebody in the Belly Gyms of area, to vote for the Irish Freedom Party, the Irish People's Party. So the Irish Freedom, you can vote for the Irish Freedom Party along with the Irish People's Party. Yeah, here's the Green Party fellow, like Kevin Murphy. Yeah. There's the 36 people then. Which I thought would be 50. I thought there would be generally 50. Go on. Yeah. What was the name of the post? I'll go and try and look up and see and so you can find information. Because I generally don't know. Nobody's told me anything about it. See, the only Joe wouldn't know, I suppose. See, I'm paying attention to things, so that's why I heard rumors about it. Now there was somebody for the Irish people. I try and remember. I can't say that we'll find something, but we'll see. Mr. Gordon. Oh, I seen. Yeah, I know who we're talking about now. Oh, I know who they're talking about. Yeah, I know who they're talking about now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but I never actually seen this. I thought he was running as a. Isn't it this the Irish People's Party? Isn't it? I think it is. This seems like it seems. Yeah, this is the name I'm getting. No, I don't want the presidency. The president you can do fuck all basically, so I wouldn't want that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because I've seen this face. Yeah, I've seen the article actually, but I never actually put two and two together. Yeah, this is the vote for the Irish People's Party. I'm stupid. I wouldn't mind, but I've seen this hundreds of times at this stage, and I never put two and two together because it didn't actually. It says the Shanwalk. I think that's what threw me off. I'll show you now. But this is the Irish People's Party and Ballygym stuff. So do give this a vote too. I know about this to be totally honest. I know about the Goggins vote. He's standing on the Shamrock Independent ballot, but it says Lester Gordon is the name of the person under the Cavan County Council register for the Irish People's Party. So Shamrock, I don't know, maybe they got that wrong. I'm not too sure to be honest. That's what threw me up before. But this seems to be who he is, like Lester Gordon. Yeah, as he says, we didn't lie down and get benefits, etc. Which is true. Yeah, so do definitely give this man a vote too if you're in the Valley Gym stuff area. Lester Gordon. Yeah, so that's that. I make a whole video talking about it. That's just who I'm recommending the whole. We need 2 hours live with at least. I know that was probably long tirade. Yeah, he's well established beard. I'm jealous. Uh, so excuse me, sorry. The thing wasn't moving there for that. Yeah. So the crew Finns closed an emergency department A&E basically in some part of Finland, and now they're saying they're going to. The True Finns voted to close down this emergency room. Now they're saying they can overturn it. So this same woman closed basically this hospital, and now is saying they can overturn it. That's pretty funny, isn't it? Like you vote to close the place, like you want to close the place, and then you're like, we can still overturn it. Thank you. But yeah, I just found that funny. Imagine that you actually want the place to close, and then the next day you're like, actually no, we want to reopen it. No, we don't want a bit of Greta Thunberg. She can stay where she is. We don't want them. Nobody wants them. So we can send them down to you, Aaron. Only we give her a private jet down to you. You have a private helicopter land in your front garden, and she'll come out and see you. And then we stage in the west outside your house. We arrest the Gaudi. The riot squad will come along and pretend to arrest them in front of the cameras and stuff. It just happened to just coincidentally OT is there to take photos and stuff like that. Isn't that amazing? Now, the last thing I suppose we're talking about, because we're here for 2 hours, I didn't plan to be here this long, but I got into the habit of thing. We don't want Greta Thunberg like you. You can have it, like. So this is from Catholic Ireland. Ireland's birth rate has declined by 30% in the last 10 years. The government think this is deliberate. Like, as I say, there's no family policy here. They just don't give a shit about children here. The Irish government, they just hate children. They seem to just hate. They want you just to abort every child you have. They want just to have mass slaughter. They would love. They're giving out. There's not enough. The Labour Party and people before profit are complaining there's not enough abortions in this country. They want more abortions. They want just an unlimited amount of abortions every 10 minutes. They want factories churning out abortions. In other words, so they wonder why the birth rate's declining and stuff like that. That's because what's happening at the moment. Then we see just with anti-family policies, nobody can afford a house, let alone have a child. So it's just all these are adding up together. What are you saying, Fiona? No, I don't want my sanity. No, I'm after speaking too much tonight. I don't want to be complaining even more. We don't want to start an argument. But anyway, that's what I take at the moment. I will make a whole video to talk about it, but it's good to know that it's an Irish People's candidate. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, anyway, we chill out for a few minutes and then we'll take our leave for tonight. How does that sound? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can't afford for something. There's no incentive, but nobody can afford to really. As you see in Hungary, I said about it before. If you have a certain amount of children, they'll accept from paying income tax. But that never happened here. They don't care over here. The Irish government just doesn't care. See, the thing about it is they can bring over everybody. That's the idea of birth rates. You can just bring people from Timbuktu. That's their idea in this country. We just have all the people come from Timbuktu, and that increases the birth rate.
Fiona's really looking to cause focus.
Yeah, maybe so, but I know it's income tax. I think you don't pay. Maybe it is true. Maybe that too. They seem to have a very big family policy. Like even discussing Finland too, like the baby box and stuff like that. And literally fucking endless amount of time off work. Like you have huge maternity leave and huge time off. Like you get every year time off to spend with your children, etc., etc. And it's not even that too. Children don't start school over there until they're 7, so that parents are encouraged to spend more time with their children when they're young. So that never happened here, unfortunately. But it's a good incentive to the baby box and things like that. Then obviously, then you don't have to pay for childcare. Is basically cheap as fuck. Over here, you literally have to sell your fucking organs to afford childcare and stuff like that. Because this deal. Then along with sending them to school and then go for big college and stuff like it's you need to literally yeah. See, them policies would work if they had it here, but we all know they don't care. They just want to import everybody from Timbuktu, and that's how they say, "Oh, the population is increasing." Oh, But see, it's still the population still go down too because fucking we're having like people having so much abortions. There's abortions every day of the week. So literally, the people before profit and the Labour Party acquiring there's not enough abortions. So that just goes to show you what their policy is. But anyway, lads, unless I think we live there, unless anybody else has anything else for tonight. I didn't plan to stay as long as I did, but I went through what I thought. So we'll have them videos up next week just discussing who I think you should vote for. We might not go through them all, some of the councils and stuff like that, who I think. Like, not all of them, like all 36 of them. I'll be here for Christmas. We talk about the European Parliament too. I forgot about the European Parliament, actually. But we talk about that because there's a lot to discuss. There's an awful lot to discuss there too. But we get there at some stage, let's put it that way. Because there's just far too much. There's far too much to talk about. I could be here all day talking about it. So at least in the video you could take a break and you don't have to speak so loud. Yeah, they fuck off and say fuck the whole lot of it, which I wouldn't blame them if they don't answer. Like I know some people my age, had children, etc., etc. But a lot of it was by mistake. It wasn't planned. Like nobody planned. Like a lot of young people don't plan it. But yeah, it's good that they keep the baby. But there's a few people that probably haven't. But yeah, anything else before we go? Any more shenanigans? Oh, are we going to, does anybody know anybody in these areas of Cavan? Does anybody know anybody? Just FYI, anybody that's here. Like, do you know anybody that lives in Cavan apart from me? Obviously, like, do you have a friend? You don't need to tell me their name or their address or something like that, but just do you have somebody in the Ballygym stuff? Do you have somebody in the Cavan area? No. Well, fucking no good. Nobody at all. Jesus. Yeah, obviously it's a lot of strain too. I know even if people has it is a lot of strain. It's a lot of a commitment to have a baby and stuff like that. It's a lot of restless nights, etc., etc. But it's worth it in the end. It is, but it's very. It can be tolling too at the same time. But it's a good joy for people. So nobody else, Jesus, nobody else does anybody else to know in Cavan. So I went through all them people for nothing. Jesus, this is disgraceful. I thought everybody wants to know people from Cavan. I thought we were just the best people in the world. These us Cavan people. Everybody wants to know us. I think we're a bit full of ourselves there now. Let me see something. Cavan mentioned, but nobody else knows anybody from Cavan, like say for example an uncle or something like that, or a friend or something like that. They could advise them to vote for the right person, basically. Not that I know of. Damn it. Big gilly. Because it'd be the reason why I mentioned it too, because a lot of people probably wouldn't know, particularly because again the mainstream media wouldn't really give too much time to the only joke, basically to the independents or to the Irish People's Party or whatever. They're more focused on the mainstream politics, the mainstream media here, just to focus on that. Particularly. What is happening? Is it raining outside? What's happening? Be Jesus, it is. But anyway, it's over. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, no, not even relative, even a friend or somebody that's registered here in Cavan or something like that. If you know anybody, just to, it's better to let them know, I suppose. Like I make a whole better detailed video, of course, on it, but just better to let them know. Yeah. I know. Anyway, here we'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you for watching. Just to say to everybody here, this is an announcement from hell. I'm only joking. Very important few weeks coming up. To be a good bit of streams in June. A lot of stuff going on. So do look forward to a few things. I might tell you the whole story, basically. That's put that way. The whole story. We see. Yeah, everybody, like somebody does some. But not even the relative for, and even if you know somebody that lives up in Cavan, or that's Welsh of the 40 or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be a relative. It doesn't have to be your wife or something like that. Take an example. If somebody's Welsh, if you know somebody, you just happen to know somebody. The weekend at Helsinki, we're not going near Helsinki. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The whole story. The whole story about being molested. But yeah, no, there'll be a big story to tell anyway in June. In relation to many stuff, I suppose. A big story. So it'd be huge. For the Finns, what? We don't want. I don't know. We don't want any true Finns here. I know. Anyway, so we see you in June. Anyway, we talk to you then in June. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it as always. We talk more Wednesday. We'll probably have done videos up at the end of the next week anyway. So we talk more then. So thank you everyone and good night. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening and goodbye.